This region around the Great Lakes has been called the heartland. When it comes to agriculture, there's hardly an area in the world that compares.
Everybody, just hold on. I don't know what we're going to have here.
There's a lot of self-proclaimed geniuses out there that know the national yield, but they're all wrong.
Manage money, piling in.
Double digits higher.
At this point, we're in kind of uncharted territory.
There's a lot of money on the sidelines.
So that was a crazy one.
That's what brings the viewers back. That a boy.
Hello, good morning, and welcome everyone to the AgYield War Room. It is Wednesday, October 8th, 2025. I, of course, am AgYield Marketing Manager, everyone's favorite backup host, and recipient of a lifetime ban to all Waffle Houses in Covington, Kentucky, Jack Coakley. Feel free to join the discussion any way you see fit. Post a comment on wherever you're watching the live stream, and we're always answering your questions at info@agyield.com. Let's go over to Brian with some overnight numbers.
Thanks, Jack. Good morning, everybody. D's corn up 3/4 overnight at 420.5. No beans up 3.5 at 1025.5, and D Chicago wheat up 1/4 at 507. We've gone through the first 5 days of crop insurance discovery price. Corn is coming in at 419 3/4, and soybeans, November beans are at 1018.90, so almost 1019. So see what today brings.
Thanks, Brian. Dustin, let's start today's discussion with you. What's going on? Where's your head at?
Yeah, I feel like not a lot new is known from what we've been talking about. I mean, we're slowly finding support into the month of October. It's a very critical month. So I think what we need to be mindful of is what a post-October looks like. We're all kind of waiting on this like promised announcement of an aid package, that Besant talked about last week. So if it is something similar to MFP2, which is what I think a lot of people are kind of basing their estimates on, the rumor mill is going strong. That would be a substantial number, and it may completely change the balance sheet from what people are thinking. And it's at the right time of year for you kind of to decide, because so we saw in other years like 2023 that we talked about it a lot over the years going into 2023, all these, collateral, everything's collateralized on crop insurance and guaranteed revenue. It's not really guaranteed if that revenue falls off after the month of October, if it's not sold yet. Only way to really guarantee the revenue is that you basically sell that during the month of October, is that especially if you're down at, a level that's at risk. So something to watch for. I think, AgYield clients, we want to be mindful to have meetings this month and just make sure you're post-October, October is where you want to be. So.
Thanks for that, Dustin. Ben, let's shoot it over to you.
Yeah, markets have really just trading in a range here around 1020 and 420. I don't think there's enough conviction on either side to be aggressive at this point. We talk about markets in terms of the farmer most of the time, but I also think that there's an end user component that things have shifted on a little bit as well. They continue to get, I think it was 4 what would be construed as bearish reports in a row, and the poor finish probably left more than would like, not covered in an environment where they're making money, right? Whatever they're doing to use corn, they're making money. So I do think that on breaks, we'll find buyers. I don't think it's one of these, big shots lower type of, I think whatever we're going to do, I think is going to be a grind. That's what I'm going to get to. Whether it's going lower or going higher, the market will grind. And certainly we could go nowhere for a while. There's a big crop on one side of the ledger, and a big demand book, and a big, domestic demand for corn on breaks that probably thought 2 months ago that they were going to have a chance to buy corn 385 or better. So that didn't work out that way. It doesn't mean that it doesn't post insurance. And I think there's certainly risk, like Dustin pointed out, of a lot of basis contracts being delivered on in corn. So,
Thanks for that, Ben. Justin, let's go over to you. Get your thoughts.
Yeah, it's hard not to sound like a broken record here. We talked about, looking at beans, for example. We've got 4 moving averages now within 3 cents of each other, which I don't know if I've ever seen. And you've got higher lows, lower highs, just this flatlining sideways chop. I think just looking at a chart, you can just feel the just lack of conviction by the market. I think kind of for obvious reasons, but with all the unknowns, I think it kind of doesn't have a home, doesn't know where to go. Farmers are going to store. Dustin's point, I mean, even waiting to the end of October, it could be too late to make that a true hedge because you're already, a third, 25% to third priced on that. So you could go down, a couple cents a day and lose coverage without being sold. So the worst thing that would happen is if corn for example, has a slow leak every day through the month of October without putting hedges on, and there's a 20-cent slippage on your guarantee or 30-cent. I think that's important to keep track of, to Dustin's point. But other than that, it's kind of hard. You're not getting any new information, obviously, with crop production outside of just, your anecdotal reports from clients. I still think the big risk is now through March. And I think, at least try to look at positives that, the options have gotten so smashed. I think, Ben, we were talking, 52-week lows and option volatility. So if you do want to replace something and just keep your options open, I think there's affordable ways to do it, to make your own guarantee without, having to sell it all. I think it's going to be a game of playing storage, playing carries, just trying to be kind of got to grind at it to try to make money. And then if there is some relief checks, then that's gravy, and move on and look at new crop stuff to do. So where my head's at.
Gotcha. Yeah, certainly a lot of rock and a hard place conversations happening in the grain markets right now. Brian, this has nothing to do with grain markets, but I do want to get your advice on something. And this is true. Yesterday, I was in a meeting with Dan where he misintroduced me as the director of marketing at AgYield. So my question to you is that a verbal contract, and should I update my LinkedIn?
Yeah, I go with it, man. Go all in. I like that. Yeah, Dan speaks sometimes out of the side of his mouth, but I go with it and run with it. So
Dan has no authority here, so
Director sounds great.
I like director though. I mean, roll with it.
Dan has said a lot of things over the years that are not accurate.
I mean, he just said, "Oh, this is the director of marketing." Jack. I was like, "Wow, I've never been accidentally."
Wow,
Done and done.
Anyway, so it's good to laugh. It's good to laugh in these markets. Anyway, Ryland, let's talk livestock, man. What's going on?
Yeah, so it looks like we're trying to make a little bit of a breakout in the cattle. I mean, it was a good close yesterday. I think you had a little bit of early cash trade in the north, which kind of sweetened the deal a little bit. So saw a little bit of steady trade around 230-ish. But also it feels like there's a little bit of gambling going on that the beef may have bottomed here. So we got choice up 263 yesterday, select up 91. So seasonally, this is the time of year when that happens. So I think if that's the worst, hopefully the worst is behind us there. And obviously, we just keep on seeing new cases of screwworm. Obviously, nothing today or yesterday, just kind of follow through from the most recent case. But it still seems like this is going to be an issue that we deal with, and just reaffirming that the border is likely to stay closed a little bit longer, or just, until we actually see on that. So overall on the hog side, still pretty weak. The 50-day moving average still holding here, but we are still seeing liquidation, and cash market's been down and pretty much past several days here, under $1 now, 98.63 down 76, and bellies have just been getting slaughtered here. No pun intended, down another $7 yesterday. So we are seeing this weakness in cutout and cash, and we are seeing the index start to tick lower here. And it does seem like we're likely seeing managed money starting to kind of dissipate some of their length. So overall, it seems like we're still going to try to hold that 50-day, but there is some caution here. And I think the risk right now is to the downside with the fundamentals starting to leak lower. So just came out with a couple recommendations here yesterday in the newsletter. So I'd say anybody check those out, see what you think. But overall, it just feels like it's a market that you kind of need a little bit of extra protection with the potential for, kind of an acceleration lower if we actually crack this 50-day.
Wow,
You're
pulled
muted.
it.
Wow.
Director of marketing.
Director of what?
Yeah,
I'm
Ben.
sorry.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh my
man.
God, marketing coordinator, not even marketing.
Junior marketing assistant two.
Oh my God! Oh wow, I'm floored. Any parting shots before we get out of here?
No.
Oh, that's all good. Okay. Well, one last thing, I would be remiss not to mention that it's my 3-year marriage anniversary with my beautiful wife, Mary Margaret. So happy anniversary to you, Mary Margaret. I got in trouble last night because she said, "Can you believe it's been 3 years?" And I said, "With you, Mary Margaret, every day feels like a lifetime." So,
Director of marriage counseling.
Yeah.
so no job, lost my job, and hopefully I get to keep my wife. Anyway, love you, honey. I'll see you tonight. If you like watching the show as much as we like putting it on, go ahead and give us a like or subscribe. Helps us out with the YouTube algorithms and gets our show out to a larger audience. So thank you to everyone that's tuning in and supporting the show. We're doing this live every day the markets are open on X, Facebook Live, and YouTube Live at 8:15 Central Time. Always a pleasure coming on here. Dan will be back tomorrow, and we'll be talking about the grain markets then. So thanks to everyone, and we'll see you soon.
The War Room is proudly presented by AgYield. For over 50 years, the AgYield team has provided grain marketing and risk management solutions for growers across the country. Our veteran consultants harness cutting-edge technologies to pinpoint risk, optimize market performance, and protect your farm's profitability. Discover a new approach to farm revenue management at agyield.com.
Hey guys, Jack here. Be sure to support the show by hitting the like button, leaving us a comment, and subscribing to the channel for all the latest updates. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.